So you want to become a composer or you want to become a sound designer, but then you're kind of seeing that AI is the new trend and you're probably breaking into this and you're just kind of like, why would I compete with something that's just going to eventually take my job? What's up, everyone? My name is Christian. I am a sound designer, part-time freelancer, also a composer as well. I've worked on the indie game Labyrinthine, did some sound design work for some monsters, player executions, footsteps, all that fancy stuff that you would hear in a horror game. And I am the host of the Haunted Behind Design podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast, where I interview game developers, musicians, voiceover artists, and content creators within the game industry. So this is a topic I've been wanting to cover onto this channel, and it's a very important topic and something I'm very passionate about. And I've had many conversations with friends of mine who are musicians that are actually recording music, performing live, touring, as well as sound designers and just composers within the game industry. And it's very interesting to hear different perspectives from other people. But let me just kind of start off with this. I am actually not worried about AI. Oh, but Christian, how can you say that? You gotta be really worried about AI and you could possibly, lose your job or lose work from AI. Look, I totally get that. I understand it. I just don't believe AI is really gonna be a threat to us sound designers and composers. And here's why. So basically my argument is, as sound designers or composers, especially within the game audio space and the game industry, the biggest thing that we have is building relationships and the fact that we are human beings. And if we pick clients and pick people that we want to work with who actually value and respect our time and they just like to work with us, we don't really have to worry about AI to that extent. Now, I have been monitoring AI as a tool for sound design, as well how it affects the music industry. I've listened to many professionals in the music business and in the game industry, how AI basically has grown over the past year or so as far as a tool and how people are utilizing it within the creative workflow. And based on my research and how I've been seeing AI has been used for a sound design aspect or application, is they're just basically using it as a sound design library, or they're just transforming or creating sounds to give them influence on how to design a specific source or whatever they're designing, whether that's a picture or a video clip or a project they might be working on, especially when it comes to a film. And when I look at how AI is being used in that sense, I'm like, how is that any different than how most people work in general when it comes to music or sound design? Like, for example, sound designers usually have some form of sound design library that they already use, or they have their own created library that they've curated sounds over the years of recording or just grabbing and buying sound design libraries over the years. And they just use that as a tool within their workflow whenever they're working on the game or whenever they're working on a music project, or even if they're just doing some kind of project related to picture, especially in media. And I was like, man, how these people are using sound design, I'm just kind of over here like, you could pretty much be doing the same thing and creating the ideas yourself, and you would have the same result as far as speed, efficiency, and just overall results. That's just my opinion. And I know there's probably going to be comments on this video that will create conversation. Like I said, I want to hear your thoughts to see where you think AI is going to be going from here, from 2025 going forward. But at the sound design level, when it comes to AI creating AI sounds, I saw a couple of videos where people were comparing real sounds to AI, and I'm just like, I hear the difference and I know what AI sounds like, but the way that it comes across when it comes to how it sounds, it just sounds processed. And I was like, don't we already do that as sound designers when we're doing sound design? We process sounds. We take a raw source recording that we've recorded or that we grabbed from a sound design library, and then we manipulate it. I mean, that's sound design, right? When you process a sound, because just dragging the sound from a sound design library into your DAW or your recording software, that's not sound design, right? So basically, when it comes to freelance work as a sound designer, I'll hit the composer aspect a little bit later on this video. But as a sound designer, the main point that I want to emphasize throughout this video, and hopefully you guys gain some value just listening to my thoughts about this, is that when you build trust and you build relationships with people or just clients that you've met and you like what they're working on, they like the type of work that you make, and they really trust you to make something custom that really stands out, that's literally curated or tailored towards what they are looking for within their game. And that is how you can sell yourself. That is how you can stand out, because most people who value creative art in that sense, they will go with that person who's passionate, who has a body of work of proof that they've actually done some great work as far as successful projects, successful sound design work, or successful music they've composed for films or video games. And you have that to back you up as a form of social proof and just proof in general within your work. They're going to go with you. AI can only go so far as how it generates ideas and just overall audio sounds, or just audio in general, because it kind of needs something that already existed to basically create something that already has been done before. So I don't know. I just see that as we already kind of do that with sound design libraries that exist, that we utilize as tools, because like I said, just because you have a sound design library doesn't mean you can just drag a sound into your project and be done. Like, sound design is all about taking not just source recordings you recorded, but existing sounds and sound design libraries, and manipulating those sounds, layering them on top of each other, processing them, mixing them, and creating something from scratch. So that is why I really don't see AI being much of a problem. Again, I'm being very passionate about this because I just believe that AI is going to be a tool. It is something that we have to be aware of, know how it works, and how people, and this is where we got to be competitive in this type of market, is we got to see how people are utilizing this within their workflow and how they're applying it into their work. Because based on what I've been seeing lately, just from the YouTube trend of AI sound design videos, it is not really something to worry about. And again, that sounds very selfish and very ignorant, I guess, to some people. But this is when it comes to niching down and being well known for a specific art style and a specific aesthetic that clients are looking for. Now, I'm going to be covering the music side, the composing side of this. You think these movie directors that hire composers like John Williams, Hans Zimmer, all those great composers, they've done some really cool stuff for those guys. Ridley Scott, for example. I mean, he's utilized Hans Zimmer in Gladiator. And John Williams has been known for his work in Harry Potter, Star Wars, Jaws, tons of great films. You think those movie directors are gonna fall back to AI? I don't really think so. That is why you find a niche, you get really good at it, you brand yourself, you market yourself, you network, you talk to people, and have some form of portfolio where you can showcase work that uplifts, elevates your niche, that tells people, look, I'm the horror guy. I love sound design for gore. I love making scary creature sounds. And when it comes to weapons, if you just want really just gruesome sound design, I'm your guy. Or if you're looking for very ambient, experimental, just atmospheric horror composing tracks, I'm your guy. So most artists, composers, and sound designers who are a little bit worried about AI being a problem within our market and also just in the industry altogether, especially for video games, recognize how it is being used, like I said a few minutes ago, but really focus on how can I stand out as an artist? How can I stand out as a sound designer? Or how can I stand out as a composer? And from that point, once somebody trusts you, you want to find clients, like I said, who like you as a person, who like to work with you, and that they trust you enough to literally let you do your own thing. I had a podcast with Ross Tregenza over on my podcast, Haunted Behind Design. He actually recently got an award for Helldivers for Best Music not too long ago. And he's also well known for doing some work or music for Texas Chainsaw, the video game. And in that podcast, we literally talk about the type of clients we like to work with. And I think it's a really good podcast because he says something that's very simple, but it's a good reminder for all of us creatives, whether it's sound design or composing, that a lot of his clients, they've been clients that he's been working with forever, over the years. And I was like, that's where I want to be. I want to get to that point where all the clients I work with are good friends of mine, people that I've built strong, genuine, long-lasting relationships with. And whenever they're creating something new, I'm their go-to guy. Just like Hans Zimmer is a lot of movie directors' go-to guy when it comes to music. Same thing for John Williams. You want to get to that point. And if you can get to that point where you're working with clients that value you and treat you like a human being, that to me is how I view success as a freelance sound designer or a successful composer who works on film or who works on video games. But again, like I said, I'm always going to be monitoring AI. I'm not making this video to just kind of brush off AI and not worry about it. Definitely as anybody who's trying to craft, sharpen their skills, whether that's any type of art form that they're continuing to work on throughout their career, is you always want to better yourself. You always want to be curious, take risks, experimentation with different tools, different creative processes. I can tell you, for me, I started out as a musician. I still love making music. I do composing as well for video games, and I also do sound design. But as a musician, it was really important for me to create. Just go at it, create something. And if the idea is not great, you throw it away. That to me is the creative process. I don't really see myself using AI at all. That's just me, because for me, I like going through the challenges of creativity. I like going through the roadblocks sometimes when I have writer's block, or I like going through that process where everything just lightning in the jar, back to back. Everything just comes together, especially when it comes to writing music. And all the inspirations, all your favorite artists, bands, or just anybody who influences you in a particular art skill that you really enjoy. Take all of those inspirations and put it into your own fingerprint out there. Anyways, guys, I thought I'd make this video. This was a little bit different, and I was really kind of not sure if I want to make this kind of video on this channel, but I felt the urge to make this type of video because I wanted to encourage those who want to become a freelance sound designer for video games, or they want to be a composer and eventually break into full-time freelancing, that, look, you can be successful by just taking everything I said and applying it, bettering yourself, continue to master your craft as an artist, and building a network and building relationships with people as well, because you need that to build momentum for a successful business. You'll be good, man. That's it. Anyways, guys, if you found this video helpful in any way, please leave a like on this video. And if you're new to this channel and you like sound design, composing content for video games, subscribe to my channel as well as clicking the notification bell as well. So that way you get notified every time I upload a video and you'll have the first dibs on whenever a new video is up. As always, guys, I will see you guys on the Flipkey Flop.